My name is Todd Anglin. I'm Vice President for Kendo UI, and I'm a huge HTML5 fan and JavaScript enthusiast. I speak about these technologies around the world to audiences, and I just love working with these standards-based technologies which can reach huge audiences. No limits, no plugins to deal with. You just build software and you can reach anything that can run HTML5 and JavaScript, which is most things in the world. So I'm really excited to be able to help be on a team that's delivering an incredible product for the HTML5 and JavaScript developer. And Kendo UI is exactly that. It's everything a developer needs to start building HTML5 and JavaScript apps for websites or mobile apps or whatever it may be. Kendo UI is a very cool package that brings together years and years of engineering excellence into a professional product that's backed by industry-leading support, and I'm really excited to be able to introduce this to everyone today. Kendo UI is different. Kendo UI is everything you need to build HTML5 and JavaScript sites and mobile apps. And the idea is to bring together all the pieces that a professional developer needs to build websites, leveraging the latest in HTML5 and JavaScript while still making it broadly usable across all browsers and putting it in one place so it's much easier to adopt and you don't have to spend as much time going out and finding the different pieces you need to build the framework that you need just to get started doing your development. Kendo UI is shipping in 3 different pieces today. Kendo UI Web, which includes rich UI widgets, data source components, drag and drop framework pieces, as well as lightning fast templating. Kendo UI Data Viz, which is today where you'll find Kendo UI's HTML5 charting tools, and that'll grow and grow in the future. As well as Kendo UI Mobile, which ships today as a preview, so we can show you our early progress towards our native-specific, or mobile-specific native UI widgets, which will continue to evolve into 2012. So these 3 pieces together will encompass what we'll call Kendo UI Complete. But today at launch, everything's available under the Kendo UI Web banner. You can buy Kendo UI Web, you'll get Kendo UI Data Viz for free, and you can of course go check out the new preview of Kendo UI Mobile. Kendo UI is very different than what's out there on the market today, in that Kendo UI delivers all these important pieces in a very unique way, in a very fluid and familiar way for the jQuery developers. The only external dependency for Kendo UI is jQuery. Everything else is built by the Kendo UI team and built to really leverage the decades of experience we've accumulated building HTML and JavaScript for the web and building it in the best way possible for the best performance, the best richness that we can deliver through standards-based technology, and put that all into one package so a developer can grab that and run with it. What you find in the market today are a lot of individual libraries that can do parts of the story, but nothing that brings it all together, especially in a way that's familiar to the jQuery developer. And we're doing that all backed by professional support, a public roadmap, and guaranteed updates, 3 major releases every year going forward. So this is a real professional tool set for the HTML JavaScript developer that wants to adopt these technologies today with less risk than might be associated with building up a framework on their own. Kendo UI is definitely ready for mobile. In fact, all of Kendo UI Web is automatically ready for mobile devices, and by ready I mean that we've built in all the necessary behaviors, all the necessary code to be responsive to touchscreen interactions just as automatically as desktop keyboard and mouse input. So if you build an application using Kendo UI Web and you access that from a touchscreen device like an iPad or an Android tablet, then all the interactions will work just the same as they would on a desktop browser. Furthermore, Kendo UI Mobile, which we're previewing right now with the first release of Kendo UI Web and Kendo UI Data Viz, is a specifically built set of tools for mobile devices. And these UI widgets are targeted to look exactly like their native counterparts, whether it's for iOS or Android or other platforms to come. And it allows the developer to focus on building the functional parts of their application, put in those functional UI for a mobile app, and then Kendo UI Mobile will automatically adapt using some very powerful CSS3 techniques to look like the actual native platform where the app is running. So I build an app with Kendo UI Mobile, it looks native, looks right on iOS, and that same app when accessed on Android looks native and looks right on Android. It's an early preview today and we're going to be putting it out there for people to check out, send us feedback so we can continue to bake this and evolve this. But Kendo UI is all about mobile apps just as much as it is about leveraging HTML5 and JavaScript for the traditional desktop or website. So mobile is a prime spot in Kendo UI Mobile as well as Kendo UI Web help support the mobile app developer. Kendo UI is for the developer that wants to leverage HTML5 and JavaScript in their applications today, but needs the guarantee of professional support, needs the guarantee of regular updates, and needs somebody they can go to when they want the framework to evolve, and that's what Kendo UI provides. And so if a developer is a JavaScript master, is an HTML5 master, and they're able to take an open source project and tweak it perfectly to their needs, that's a perfect scenario for somebody to leverage either the Kendo UI open source license and take that and run with it, or any of the other great open source projects that are out there today for HTML5 and JavaScript. There's a huge audience that we know that is trying to adopt HTML5 and JavaScript professionally now, moving beyond the hobby state, really trying to put this into software that has to be ready, be dependable. And that's where Kendo UI comes in, is it brings all the pieces together, it brings it in with support, and allows the developer to quickly get up and running, building an application with these technologies while still supporting all the older browsers all the way back to IE7, so they can have that broad support while still leveraging the latest and greatest, and they can do it quickly with the kind of guarantee that reduces the risk of adopting a new technology like HTML5 and the newer parts of JavaScript. Kendo UI is a dual license product, and we dual license Kendo UI because we think that it's very important when you're developing tools for the JavaScript space that you really be good neighbors of the other libraries that are out there. And I love the quote, "If I've seen further, it's been because I've been standing on the shoulders of giants," Isaac Newton. And the idea is certainly true in JavaScript. We can only go to where we are today because of who've come before. And so with Kendo UI, it's available under a dual license, open source under GPL v3, as well as a commercial license for any project that needs to have proprietary code or needs to have more proprietary distribution rights. And we think that really embraces the idea of supporting the open source community with an open source GPL license, as well as supporting any other project which needs a commercial license. And we're going to make that available at launch so that developers can leverage Kendo UI across a broad range of solutions. And we can make sure Kendo UI is a good neighbor of all the things that have come before and all the things that are certainly going to come after. Telerik is an industry leader in providing solutions for individual developers and development teams that span the entire spectrum of software development, from planning a software project with agile project management tools, to building a software project with UI tools, data access tool, coding productivity tools, to actually testing that product to make sure that the product you designed and built does what it was supposed to do with automated functional and load testing tools. So performance testing and soon to be load testing tools. So Telerik is an industry leader in providing a broad range of solutions for software developers, and we bring that experience to Kendo UI. And Kendo UI is built for an entirely new audience, this audience of HTML5 and JavaScript developers, which spans the entire software industry. Doesn't matter whether you're working with .NET or PHP or Ruby or whatever it may be, Kendo UI is a perfect solution, a perfect framework to give developers the tools they need to adopt the front-end pieces, HTML5, JavaScript, CSS3, and legacy support as well, without needing to go reinvent the wheel or go find third-party support for otherwise great open source projects. So Kendo UI comes and fills that gap, fills that void, and Telerik brings to that its legendary support, which guarantees that developers who adopt Kendo UI will get the help, the answers they need, and they can turn to the history and the legacy of Telerik to look at how well we've developed a reputation for doing that. The best way to learn more about Kendo UI is to visit kendoui.com, of course, where we've got great information packed into the Kendo UI blogs, very active forums where you can ask questions, get answers quickly, as well as complete online documentation and a vast array, growing very quickly array of online demos, where if you prefer to learn by example, you can see it in action and then see the code that supports it. And we'll continue to expand all these resources to make sure that learning Kendo UI is as easy as possible. And of course, if people have questions, we'd love to hear them so we can figure out how to make learning and using Kendo UI a real blast when you're developing with HTML5 and JavaScript. I'm really excited to have been able to give a brief introduction to some of the Kendo UI. I'm sure commonly asked questions, and we know there'll be a lot more in the future. But I hope everybody enjoys this kickoff launch webinar. Certainly I'll be hosting it, so you'll see me again very soon. But I'm really excited to be part of this, and I hope everybody really enjoys Kendo UI and goes out and downloads it today, checks it out. There's a free commercial trial. Download it, play with it, let us know what you think. And if you like it, then we'd love for you to become a customer so that we can partner together and take HTML5 and JavaScript into the future.